Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're following the absolutely gripping story of Lencho. He's a hardworking farmer, and his emotional journey is going to brilliantly illustrate two massive concepts for us: profound faith and literary irony. On the surface, it's a super simple story, but trust me, it packs a massive thematic punch.
There's that old saying that faith can move mountains. But what exactly should we put our faith in? That's the delicate, kind of profound question this story poses right from the get-go. I want you to keep this in the back of your mind as we see just how far faith can really take someone. So meet our protagonist, Lencho. Picture him looking out at his ripe cornfield from his solitary house right up on the crest of a low hill. He knows these fields like the back of his hand, and you can just feel the hopeful anticipation radiating from him. He's so deeply connected to the earth. Literally, the only thing standing between him and a solid harvest, the food his family desperately needs to survive, is a good downpour. He's looking up at the sky, telling his wife, "Hey, we're finally gonna get some water." But nature can flip on a dime, right? At first, the rain is an absolute blessing. Luncho uses this gorgeous metaphor, calling the raindrops new coins, like tens and fives, spelling out a prosperous future. But then, out of nowhere, the wind starts howling. Those precious little coins freeze up and turn into destructive hailstones. The text calls them frozen pearls that cover his entire field like salt. The very rain he prayed so hard for literally becomes the instrument of his total ruin. And the devastation is just absolute. You can actually hear the sheer despair in Lencho's own words. He says a plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. He's standing right in the middle of his totally destroyed cornfield. There isn't a single leaf left on the trees. The flowers are gone. His soul is just completely crushed with sadness. All that backbreaking work was for nothing, and suddenly his family going hungry this year isn't just a worry, it's a very harsh, immediate reality. But right here, we hit a crucial turning point in our story. In the middle of that solitary valley, surrounded by total, devastating loss, a single hope remains: help from God. Lencho's despair miraculously transforms. It turns into this unshakable, profound faith. He remembers that old saying, that no one dies of hunger, and he believes it with every single fiber of his being. He genuinely believes that God's eyes see absolutely everything, even what's deep in someone's conscience, and that he is going to be saved.
So think about it. How does a desperate man actually act on that kind of faith? Well, to wrap our heads around what Lencho does next, let's look at a real-world analogy. Think about sending a money order through the post office. It's a super tangible, bureaucratic process, right? You've got specific addresses, strict procedures. You walk up to the counter, buy your form, carefully fill in the little boxes, pay the clerk, and grab your receipt. We are all so used to these practical, structured forms to send money to relatives or pay for things. But Lencho, he does something completely extraordinary. Even though he's described as an ox of a man who works like an animal in the fields, he actually knows how to write. So he just bypasses all the standard recipient lines. He literally writes a letter, addresses the envelope simply to God, asks for exactly 100 pesos so he can sow his field again, and casually drops it right into the town mailbox. I mean, it is just a stunning display of literal, unquestioning faith. Now enter the post office employees, and specifically the amiable, slightly plump postmaster. At first, naturally, he burst out laughing at a letter addressed to God. But that amusement quickly turns into deep empathy. He realizes he doesn't want to disillusion this guy. He wants to preserve this incredible, pure faith. So what's his move? He actually gathers money from his employees, chips in part of his own salary, and manages to scrape together a little more than half of the requested 100 pesos. He seals it in an envelope addressed to Lencho and signs it with just one single word: God. Okay, before we see Lencho's reaction to getting this cash, we really need to master a core literary concept here: literary irony. Basically, it's an unexpected aspect of a situation that is strange or amusing simply because it's the exact opposite of what you'd expect to happen. Keep this definition locked in your brain because it's absolutely key to understanding the climax of this chapter. I mean, we all expect Lencho to be overjoyed and super grateful for the money, right? The postmaster definitely expects that. But check this out. Lencho tears open the letter, and he isn't surprised at all to find money in there. That's how absolute his confidence was. But when he actually counts the bills and sees it's only 70 pesos, he gets mad. His logic? He thinks, well, God could not have made a mistake, and God certainly wouldn't deny me what I asked for.
So he immediately grabs a pen, writes another letter asking God for the rest of the cash, but explicitly tells him not to send it through the mail. Why? Because, and here is the ultimate ironic twist, he says the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. The exact people who sacrifice their own money to help him out are the ones he blames for stealing from him. It is literally the textbook perfect example of situational irony.
Let's pause for a sec and lock in what we've learned with a quick case-based review. These are the exact kinds of previous year questions you're going to see on an exam for this text. So, who does Lencho have complete faith in? God. Why does the postmaster sign it, God? To maintain Lencho's faith. Who does Lencho think took the rest of the money? Yep, the post office employees. And what exactly is the irony? That the very people who helped him are perceived as thieves. Working through these questions really helps you evaluate the intense depth of Lencho's faith alongside that bitter, almost comical irony at the end. Now, another vital literary tool the author uses here is the metaphor. G.L. Fuentes was an absolute master at drawing inspiration directly from the earth and its people. Just notice how he brilliantly transfers the qualities of one thing to another to build up this powerful imagery. The clouds become huge mountains, transferring that sense of sheer mass. Raindrops become new coins, transferring their value and promise. The hailstones are frozen pearls, which perfectly highlights their cold, round appearance. And Lencho himself is an ox of a man, emphasizing his immense strength and hard work. It really shows how clever language can elevate a simple story into a super rich, vivid experience.
You know, what's really fascinating is connecting this thematic exploration of nature to other pieces of literature. Take Robert Frost's famous poem, Fire and Ice. While Fuentes is looking at literal storms, Frost, who is famous for finding deep philosophy in everyday rural life, uses fire and ice as symbolic, destructive forces of human nature. Fire aligns with greed, conflict, and fury, which is actually pretty akin to Lencho's sudden anger at the end there. And ice aligns with cruelty, hatred, and coldness. Both the story and the poem really force us to look at the powerful, sometimes destructive elements not just in the world around us, but within ourselves. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. Have you ever been in a really tough spot, great difficulty, and felt like literally only a miracle could help you? How did that problem end up getting solved? Did the help come from the place you expected, or was there an ironic twist in your own life? Lencho's story teaches us so much about the unyielding power of hope, the totally unpredictable complexities of human nature, and the incredibly fascinating ways literature can surprise us. Keep exploring these stories. There is so much to learn.